Hello everyone and welcome back to NT Game with me, Tukx. Today I've got Alex here. We're going to talk about the new Guild Wars 2 April feature patch for the 15th of April. Well, it's been a long time since you've played Guild Wars, and
Pretty
I
much.
mean, I haven't really played too much either, to be honest. I'm still doing the videos for it because I'm still interested in what's going on, but there's not currently much bringing me back. I've done the current Scarlet content. Did you know that we killed Scarlet at all? I think I might have
I think
mentioned
you
to you at some
mentioned
point.
it. See, the thing that killed it for me was literally the tower patch. Like, was in November. Like
Yeah,
that must have
it's a long
been
time
the
ago.
worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was
Like,
around Halloween, wasn't it?
yeah, it was like the Halloween patch. Like, there's been some. I've played quite a few MMOs. There's been some bad stuff going on, but that was so boring. So the thing is, the patch before that, when like you had the instance, actually that wasn't too bad. I was like, that's pretty cool. I wonder where they're
Oh,
gonna go from here.
the one in Twilight Arbor.
Yeah, like it's fair enough. It took us ages, right? Because we had some proper
Specials.
yeah, the nice
Yeah.
way to put it. But we bossed up, we know we done it, and it was fun, man. I like doing dungeons and stuff like that. But that tower was just the worst thing that could ever happen. It really put me off. Like I haven't even played the game since. Like that's how bad I did not like it. It's
I
just
think it was just because it was so grindy, and what really put me off is the fact that how it was set up. They had to play so many days because there weren't enough achievements to do it.
yeah,
You kind of had to do the dailies, which were once a day, and of course
yeah,
it kind of extended the patch over like 3 days.
yeah. It's just I hated how they done it. And it's the thing with like at least with me stuff like that. It puts me off playing games, and then it's hard for me to get back into them because I'm thinking, especially well, I've got you telling me anyway, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh well, the next one hasn't really improved that much. So I'm like, oh, then I'm not even going to bother because
I
I
mean, I'll
didn't
tell
like
you
it
the
last time.
features, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, like you said, the new one that's out or coming out, they're like releasing features for
yeah.
in bit by bit, right? And you say it looks quite good, and I've read a little bit, like you showed me about the traits and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a quite a
Well,
good
we're
idea. I
going to
think
talk
it's
about
a
that now anyway, aren't we?
yeah, but you know,
I mean, this is almost a mini expansion, the sort of content they're bringing out. It's not, as far as I can see, it's not actual physical world content. It's just more of sorts of tweaks and stuff. So it's
yeah,
like a mini expansion. And this is out on the 15th of April, so not long to go now. Right, should we get into it?
yeah, crack
The,
away.
the first thing that was announced was new traits. It's called Traits Unleashed, 40 new traits and more.
Yeah,
So, of course, this has been done on a lot of MMOs, a new trait system, a new sort of talent tree sort of thing. Been redone. Do you remember the different trait levels? There was one, I think it was, well, the top one was Grandmaster. That's what I can remember.
yeah. I can't. Yeah, that's
Though
the only one I remember.
there was Adept. I can't remember the middle one. Oh, a Major. Adept, Major, Grandmaster, wasn't it?
That's the one. That sounds good.
These are now automatically um, learnt when you get to certain levels.
Yeah,
So instead of going to the trainers to buy the different journals, the manuals,
yeah,
at level 30 you get the first one, Adept. At level 60 you get Major, and at level 80 you get the Grandmaster ones. So it's
yeah,
automatically unlocked.
yeah. See, I like that because there are times where you get like to the certain level, and then you're like, oh, I need to now go back to town. Which, like, fair enough. There's loads of waypoints, so it's not like such a big issue.
Yeah.
But there are times where you just feel like I'm leveling. Like you're in the mood to level. You don't really want to stop. You don't want to have to go back to town,
You don't want to
pick
slow
up the
down.
manual and stuff, and then come back. And also, it costs money. Like money's
Mm.
reasonably
It was
easy.
quite a lot as well because
Yeah,
the first one was only 10 silvers, but the second one was a gold,
yeah.
and the
I
third one was, I think it was 2 gold, wasn't it?
thought it was like 10.
No, it's not that much.
Is it not that
It's
much?
it's only a
Maybe.
couple of gold, but
Yeah,
if you're doing this on all your characters, I mean, I've got how many? I think I've got 8 character slots,
yeah.
so it's a lot of gold just to be dropping on characters. But
That's the
it's
thing.
nice now. It's free. It
Yeah,
just kind of flows a bit better.
yeah. I mean, that's the one thing that I'd like about it. Just because you can, when you're in the zone of leveling, you can just continue and then have pick up the traits.
Yeah.
You don't have to throw yourself out of sync or anything, which I think is a good idea. I can't really think of any bad things about it. I mean, in a way, some people like going back to trainers and learning. It feels like it gives them a bit of purpose.
It gives you a bit more community, but
Yeah,
there is actually a purpose to the trainers, which I'm going to get onto in a minute.
yeah,
First thing I want to touch on the fact that they're moving the trait points down from 70 to 14.
yeah,
This means that starting at level 30, when you get your first tier,
yeah,
you get 1 trait point every 6 levels until level 66, and then from 66 onwards, you get 2 per 6 levels.
yeah. Yeah, I
which
see.
again it's kind of grouping them into that five that you had, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Because you would have a 5, then a 10, then a 15, those different
yeah,
things. So opposed to just kind of putting random points in and not guessing the actual bonus, you have to kind of take the bonuses now.
yeah. I mean, I definitely think it simplifies it a little bit.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
does.
that's. I'm not keen, right, on when games try to simplify things, because it's like it's dumbing it down for the people who are too dumb to understand.
Yeah.
Like you click a button and it puts a point in, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." But at the same time, it's good because it makes it quicker. It sorts out. You don't have to think so much about it. And but again, it won't help the people who don't have a clue anyway.
I think it will though, because I don't think that they're simplifying. Well, they are simplifying, but I think it was overcomplicated before, as opposed to them making it. I think they're just making it more useful in a way that you're actually benefiting yourself, because you weren't really benefiting yourself if you went like 3 points into something, were you? You get like a tiny bit more of this or that, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose. I mean, at least now you have to like it makes you pretty much get like the first. Um, they described it as treating 1 point as five or something, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
So it's just all those little
yeah,
categories, because you had like the big one. You had the big
yeah,
three. You had an, a I forgot the word again, but you had the big three, and then you had little ones in between, little 5 point
yeah,
ones.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it'd be good. I mean, I'd like to when it like I might have a look when it's properly in place and have a look at it and see if I like it.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's we've got a lot more stuff to try and bring you back anyway.
I
But
mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm not really playing an MMOs so much at the moment. So, I mean, I do like it. I spent a lot of time on my warrior, you
yeah,
know, and I do like it. I like to play it. I mean, I even leveled another warrior because I like warrior so much. I just changed it because I
yeah,
didn't like the look of Char. So I'd like to play it. It seems a waste of time almost.
yeah.
So
And
I'm
that's why I'm trying to bring you back with this sort of stuff. But I
yeah,
mean, you do have some MMO content coming out soon when we can
yeah,
get around to sorting that out. But
yeah,
that'll be announced a little bit closer to the time when we've actually got that sorted.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
to get back to the subject, um, we've talked about the trait points.
yeah,
You can now refund your trait points.
yeah,
There's now a button on the UI, and
yeah.
you can change your traits whenever you want out of combat.
See, that I did like.
That's a live change. You
Yeah.
can be anywhere in the world and just change your trait points.
That is one thing I liked a lot because again, it's one of those things where when you're out in the world, you're killing. Say you're trying to do a world boss. You do a world boss. You're doing a bit of questing. You're killing something, and you just don't feel quite right, and you want to just try a few things. Just reset them
Yeah,
straight away. You don't have to. Oh God, I've got to go back to a city again. It's easy with the waypoint system, but it's that extra
it's just a bit
time.
too much, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because you have to go back. You don't get waypointed directly to the train. If you go to
exactly.
Lion's Arch, or the old Lion's Arch, it was a few steps away,
Yeah,
which isn't too bad. But you have to go there, and you can't try it out straight away. You have to think about it and all that.
exactly.
Whereas if you're just in the world, you try something, go hit something, see what you think about it, and try something else.
Yeah, that's
Nice
one
and
thing.
easy.
Like when I read about that, I was actually quite happy with that. That is one thing I definitely do like, because again, it just makes you feel more part of the game or part of your character. I think,
Yeah.
especially when you can just change things on the fly like that. That's one thing I am quite glad about, and I think
Yeah.
it'll fit in very nicely as well, especially when they've changed like the points as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think that'll integrate quite well together.
Yeah.
So it's just that's one thing that I'm going to try that anyway, just to see. I mean, it almost seems pointless, but definitely something what I just want to have a look at, see how it
Yeah.
functions.
I'm gonna loop the next two into one.
Yep.
First of all, there's new Grandmaster traits, right?
Yeah. Isn't there
Which
40?
is good.
It's
Yeah,
40 over,
there's
obviously.
40 new
Yeah.
Grandmaster traits, which is good. It means that the classes get different things.
Yep.
I'm not going to go into details of what they are
Yeah.
currently, but I mean, well, I'm going to put links to each of the different things on the video description, so you can check those out yourself. Because
Yep.
it'll take far too long if we went into the ins and
Yeah.
outs of each one.
Most people only care about what class they play anyway, so
Exactly.
I know
So
I know I'm the same.
yeah, I really only look for Guardian things. I
Yep.
didn't actually read the other ones. I read the Guardian ones and thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to talk about it because it will take far too long, and there's different things for everyone.
Exactly.
But this is one thing that I see being slightly controversial, depending on how they implement it, is that you now have to unlock traits. You know, before you would just kind of say, I want number 5,
Yeah.
right? You now have to unlock them in the world. This promotes playing. So basically, you can go out into the world,
Yeah.
do dungeons, world v world, bosses, story, and you get these books. These are called trait guides. It's a new item,
Yeah.
and they're going to be used to teach you these new traits.
Okay.
Which, if they implemented the fact that all level 80s have to go out and re-get them, I'll be quite annoyed.
Yeah.
But if they implement it as the fact that you are level 80, you currently have access to everything, essentially.
Yeah.
I would like that. What do you think about that?
See, I like the idea that they're making it that you could that they would drop, right? I kind of do like that. But
Yeah.
you're right. If you're already at level 80 and you have to go around picking stuff
You don't
up,
want to go and grind all your moves again,
yeah,
do you?
that would be when you're leveling, it's a bit actually like, oh sweet, I've got this.
Yeah.
That's really good, and I think that's a good idea, and I'm hoping, like you say, that's just where they're going to go with that. When you're leveling a character, that's fine, but if you're already level 8 and you have to go back and get everything, that people will hate that because it's just that would be a bad way to go. I think
Yeah.
definitely, but yeah, but it depends. Like, are they going to do it so, say, if you're leveling an elementalist, for example, it just drops traits for that,
See, I
or
don't know. I don't know whether they're specific books, for
yeah,
example, or whether they're just a book which you then activate and you can choose what you unlock.
yeah.
I think it's going more the second.
Yeah. I mean, I can see. I mean, the one thing that I quite say, if you're leveling one certain class, but then you get a book for a trait or something of another class to sell it, because that'd be a good way for people to make like a bit of money while leveling as well. It's sure it might take longer if you wanted your own traits for your own class and everything, but it's just an extra thing to have, you know, on the auction house.
You say that, but unfortunately that won't happen for this good reason coming up. That you don't have to go and grind these books, right?
Yeah.
You can buy them from the old trainers. This is what I mentioned before, that they actually still have a use.
Oh,
You can
okay.
buy these books from the trainers. So
Yeah.
I don't think you'll be able to sell them, but you can just go and buy them. What they're going to cost you, I don't know.
See, that's
Because they're going to cost something. Whether they're going to be a gold, skill points, they could be anything.
See. I mean, skill points. I kind of think skill points are pretty much useless. Like apart from when you want your legendary, right? When you need, was
Yeah,
it 200?
it's quite a lot, yeah.
What
Just for one thing,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
but the thing is, like 200. By the time you're 80, you pretty much. I mean, after getting 80, after doing like a few web bosses, just playing generally, you easily accumulate 200 skill points.
Yeah.
So then, and
The thing
anything
is,
after that, it's just wasted.
if you don't spend all of your skill points buying all your moves,
Yeah.
like if you know what you're doing from the start,
Yeah.
then you save a lot anyway. Because I think you had 200 skill points before I even did, because I bought all my
Yeah.
moves on
Yeah,
my
that's the thing.
Guardian.
Like I picked exactly what I wanted, and I had so many spare, and it was only just because I had so many spare, and I was just like, I'm not quite working towards my legendary yet. I can just, I'll easily have enough if I decide to get there.
Yeah.
So I just started buying some random moves just to try out. But the thing is, I made loads back already anyway, so
Mm.
it's almost obsolete. So I think in a way where if they've done it for skill points, I think they should make it. I don't want to say really expensive because then it's almost like it makes it a grind again to grind the skill
Mm.
points to get the books. But if they're going to do it skill point wise, they either say if they make it a low amount of skill points, but then they make it like a certain fee as well. That could
Yeah.
work. Small fee, skill points, not so bad.
Yeah.
But if they go the way of just pure skill points, as much I'd like to see them, like skill points actually be worth something other than just I'm going to get my legendary or like that sort of thing. I think they
Yeah.
need to make them a reasonable amount.
I think we'll have to wait and see with that one really, because we don't know what sort of direction it's going.
No, I don't. I mean, the fact that they're going to make the trainers so you can buy them, I don't think that's.
It's not a bad thing. It means that if you don't,
Yeah,
they even say it on the page, if you don't really fancy, if it's not your thing, you don't fancy doing that, you can just buy them,
yeah,
which is fair enough.
yeah.
I
That's
mean,
fine.
some people don't like it. and some people might say it's making the game for casuals, easy mode, but I mean, to be honest, if you was leveling an ult and you can't be asked, I mean, you do want to do it a different way. I mean, if you're leveling via crafting as well, which you can do,
Yeah.
you could, just
Yeah,
get
I
them easily.
suppose so. I mean, I would kind of like the idea of, I mean, if there's see, this is the thing about I don't mind the idea of grinding something, but
Yeah.
it would have to be the case of
Is it worthwhile?
is it worthwhile doing it? Is that thing good enough? If this is something I want to try out, am I going to spend a few hours hoping for a drop, and then get it and it's just going to be awful, and I feel like I wasted hours when I could be making money or something like that?
Yeah.
But then it could all, if I just go to my trainer, I mean, I think it would be better from drops when you're doing your first character, and then
Mm.
but you're right, when you're doing ults, you kind of just want to be like, yeah, I kind of just want my moves, just give them to me.
And I think, like I said, I have to wait and see how it's implemented, though.
Yeah, something to look
Right.
forward to, or at least to look out for.
And that's only the first feature that we talked about. We've still got another 3 of these to go.
Yeah,
The next ones could be a bit quicker because you're probably not going to be as interested in the next one.
probably
The
not.
next one is runes, sigils, and balance updates.
Okay.
Basically, they're kind of revamping the runes and the sigils
Yeah.
to make them
Good.
better. They're making them a lot more. You kind of want them more. Like they're encouraging you to use a full set of runes.
Yeah.
Like before you would have like a certain set of runes and you could kind of mix and match because some of them would have you better get more power out of it or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're actually encouraging with better bonuses for having the full sets and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah. Okay, that's quite good. I kind of. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan.
I think you were more ruby orbs, weren't you? Just full
Yeah.
out berserker.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I kind of like that fact, but one thing I hate is I mean, Guild Wars has got it too. I think every game, like every MMO, sort of has it. There's always ones that just like no one will ever use.
You
Like,
say that, but they have said that they want to make those the lesser used ones more used, and it looks like they've done quite a lot of balancing. And once again, it's one of those things we have to wait and see. But
I mean, there'll always be ones that will be better.
yeah,
But I do think, I mean, again, this comes down to traits and stuff. Obviously, there'll be ones that'll be slightly better depending, one, obviously what class you're playing, but two, what spec you want to go for. And I kind of think if they went, right, this makes it easy and makes it definitely really good for casuals. But let's say if there was a spec and you picked this spec and you've done it and it relies on power, you just go for the orbs and everything like that. That would just give you power. Then if you
yeah,
went for one that was more, for instance, like bleed damage, you'd go for the ones that are like that. And if it was just like
yeah.
that, then everything would get a certain use, and you
hmm
wouldn't be like, oh well, I could go for this one, but it's
I
only a small
suppose, but
difference from this one, and this one's cheaper. But
I
if
think
it,
there'd be less choice though, wouldn't there?
yeah,
The thing is, with Guild Wars, there's a lot of choice with these things. Like, I can't even count how many different runes there are.
but see that's, but again, I mean, obviously that you like say they're going to try and change it so more people want to use them, but there'll always be ones that'll just be awful that people won't use. So you may as well make it so they're gonna get some use out of them,
Mm.
no matter what.
Well, we have to wait and see really about how they're actually going to plan on balancing this. They haven't said too much about it, but they kind of just said that they're going to try and balance it out.
Yeah,
One thing they have said is that the proc rates on some things, they're changing the proc rates
yeah,
and the functionality of the things. So it means that the proc rates are going to be increased on some things.
okay,
One example they gave was a change from, I think, 5% to 50%,
wow,
which
that's
is quite a lot.
yeah, just a bit, 45%. That's
So you can see what I mean,
yeah.
that things are getting changed around.
I mean, that's a big change, eh? I mean, I mean, you think most things literally. I mean, to be fair, if you had told me that they're like going from 5% to 10%, I'd be like, oh,
That's double, right?
yeah, that's pretty good. The fact
This
that you're going from
is,
5 to 50, that's crazy.
yeah.
But okay, I guess it's one thing that we literally just have to see how it turns out if they're gonna start doing some crazy stuff like that.
Another one that we've got here that you're going to completely ignore is PvP.
Yeah.
The rune sets is now a single rune, right? So
Yeah.
it's no longer, you don't need the whole thing.
Okay.
You have one rune, you get the set. That's it.
Okay.
Nice and simple. Probably not much to say about that one, so we can move on if you want.
Yeah, I'm not. Don't really care for PvP
Right.
anyway.
There's going to be better tooltips on the runes and sigils.
Okay.
So it kind of shows the rules.
Yeah.
There's fewer hidden rules, so you can see like if only you can have the bloodlust one
Yeah.
that it stacks up.
Yeah.
If you had dual wield, for example, you have two, right?
Yeah.
You can't stack them together, and that,
Yeah.
that it's just kind of giving saying that those aren't going to stack together.
See, that's good though. I mean, fair enough. It kind of cuts out. Some people will see. There's a lot of theory crafters
Yeah,
that try everything, so they like doing that. But it cuts that out. But it's also just a lot easier and more accessible for people that just kind of.
yeah. Once again,
Again,
casuals,
they're
but
making it too casual. But I think with this game,
I think they're making it simple as opposed to casual.
I mean, yeah, there is that.
There is a slight difference between these two words, but
Yeah.
they're very similar, but there is a very slight difference.
Yeah.
I think making stuff simple and easier to use is good, whereas making stuff for the casuals is bad. But I think this is going more towards making it slightly easier to use things, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, they're just given a greater understanding, which is good because it saves time. People read it and go, "Oh, this does not cannot be stacked with another
Yeah,
thing," which is good. I think. I mean, because there's always that wonder where you're like, "Oh, but does it?" And then
yeah.
if you
And
don't
then
if you
you
don't try
then
it
you go and
yourself,
buy one, they're
yeah,
expensive, and
that's the thing.
I think they're a few gold a pop. So if you
Yeah,
go and buy two of them, you're a bit.
yeah. So that's good. I mean, I think a lot of people dislike it because again, there's a lot of people that like putting the time and the effort to try that and to help other people by
Yeah,
putting the time into it. But I mean, it doesn't. I mean, if it just makes it easier, it kind of cuts that out.
yeah.
So I think that's quite a good change.
Hmm. This is going to be quite a big change that I think it's going to impact you and me.
Okay.
Actually, it won't impact you as much, but on some characters, a few it will, because I know you're actually dual-wield, aren't you?
Yeah.
You can now, on two-handed weapons, equip two sigils.
Okay.
This means that it will then match dual-wield as to the different things. So I can have, on my greatsword currently, I could have two sigils.
Yeah.
So I could have Bloodlust and I think it's the lightning one. Done as a lightning strike,
Yeah. Okay.
which is good. You know anything
Th-
about that?
I do quite like that. I mean, it definitely one thing I definitely felt. Well, I mean, I like the play style of the dual wield warrior. That's why
Yeah,
I went like that. But I do. It's always one of those things. I mean, again, this is a thing that happens across every MMO really. Like when you have dual wield, people always think, well, it's a bit of extra added something. Either it's extra stats or something on two because there's two weapons. But you think, oh well, the two hand has greater damage.
yeah. Usually
But
it kind of balances out
yeah,
stat-wise, doesn't it?
but I mean, Guild Wars done quite a good job with like kind of balancing out anyway, making
Yeah,
it,
actual stat-wise, it seems
yeah,
fine, but it was just that difference
yeah,
that as a dual wielder you could have two,
yeah.
whereas
The extra sigil, obviously, it makes a lot of difference. So the fact that they're adding that in, I think it'll be good.
yeah,
I can't see a downfall to it. Everyone, I mean, people that play with two-handed now, they're pretty happy. That's why they're doing it. So the fact they're just going to get something added on top,
yeah.
they'll love that.
I
It would,
mean, at the end of the day, it means I could use Bloodlust and the damage one
yeah,
at the same time, which is going to be quite a lot of extra damage.
yeah,
I mean, you could always have that on your warrior because
yeah.
you're dual wield, but it's just something else. Adds a bit more to us, I think.
I mean, it would definitely. I mean, when that happens, I'd probably try two-handed again on
Mm.
my warrior just to try it out. I mean, obviously the playstyle's not going to change at all, but it'd just be something nice to try.
Yeah,
It won't really change much, but I think it'd just be a cool little thing. I think it's a good idea.
yeah. And the final thing I wanted to say on rune sigils and balance is that some of the on crit sigils
Yeah.
they're now being changed to on hit.
Okay, okay. But see,
I think it's more the defensive ones as opposed to because if you're playing a very defensive build,
yeah, the crit is
you're
gonna
not going to be
lack.
critting very
Yeah,
much. So I think it's more the defensive ones. I wasn't entirely sure about that. It wasn't crystal clear, but some are being changed from on crit to on hit.
yeah. I mean, I think if it got to the stage where if you're DPSing and you had, I mean, you naturally get quite a bit of crit anyway, and they change it just to be on hit, I think it would be a bit overpowered. But if you are a
Unless it was an incredibly
defensive,
small percentage.
yeah. But then then it's got almost obsolete changing it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
But I think if you're right and they do it the way it sounds like they will do it, they're gonna go defensive. That's a very good idea, especially because they can then make it. Well, I suppose then they can't really. Well, yeah, they can make it a decent hit chance, and then they'll get some benefit because
Yeah.
they won't be critting much, but they'll be hitting a lot. That's a good idea.
Hmm.
There's not really any downside to that. I
So
mean,
you're happy with that change then?
well, I don't play a defensive character,
No.
but
It'd be nice to play one though. I quite like the whole sword and board sort of style. Whether
yeah,
I don't play it or not, I quite like the
yeah.
actual concept of it.
I mean, I do quite like Sword and Shield and Warrior, to be honest. It's
Yeah.
quite a nice thing. And I think if it did come to down to it, where it was just like, oh well, now we can get the sigils that have the chance on hit. That's good.
Yeah.
Where even if it's like, for instance, a damage bubble, just for like, oh, chance on hit to absorb this,
Yeah.
that's cool. Or even if it's just chance on hit to do this much extra damage, that's cool as well. Especially when you're not going to have much crit. That's just a nice little addition,
Yeah.
just to make yourself feel a bit better about playing the character.
Yeah. It's just something actually you can have, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on to the number 3. This is critical damage changes. I mentioned this to you a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Basically, the crit damage stat that was what was a percentage is now changing to ferocity,
Yep.
which is a number value.
Okay.
All of the current armor sets, this will affect Berserker mainly. All the current sets will be converted from crit damage to ferocity,
Okay.
which is fine. At level 80, 15 ferocity is 1 crit damage.
Okay.
Right. So overall, the Berserker builds are being nerfed,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but they were quite strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're being nerfed about 10% crit.
Okay.
Crit damage, sorry, not
Yeah.
crit.
Yeah.
10% crit damage, which is good, but it's apparently they're going to have this stat as being very useful still. They're not trying to nerf it to the ground and being like, well, Berserker's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. I mean, but the thing it might do is make people aim more for ferocity.
Well,
Good.
ferocity is just crit damage essentially. You can still think of it as that,
Yeah, I suppose just under a different
and
name.
it still pairs up with precision, which is the crit, isn't it?
But then why
They
even
still
bother
pair.
changing the name? Like, why not just nerf
It's
it and keep it the
because
same?
what they want to go for is to make it easier to understand, because it's quite difficult to understand at the moment and the way it scales. Basically, the way it works is your base crit damage
Yeah.
is 150%.
Yeah.
So any bonus to that crit damage goes on top.
Yeah.
This is now going to be displayed in your hero panel, so you'll be able to see your total crit damage.
Yeah.
So the 150 plus whatever you've currently got. So
Yeah.
it will say maybe 170.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
what the reason they've kind of changed it, so it's easier to display and it just looks nicer, I think.
Okay.
I'll
I'll see how it goes. I mean, it'll pretty work out.
I mean, it's a slight nerf, but we'll wait and see. I don't think it'd be too bad, but they might have to tweak it when it comes live.
Yeah, I'm sure
Once
they'll.
it's all
I mean,
changed,
it's
yeah.
one thing. There'll always be certain issues probably. I can't imagine them be releasing it just working straight away.
Yeah, they can always just change the number of the
Yeah.
15 ferocity is 1 crit damage. They can always change that to like 10 ferocity is 1.
Yeah. Well,
If they need
that'll
to,
be
and
the only
that's
thing.
always what they can change, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that'll be the only thing. I think they'll release it at 15, and then everyone will be like, "Rah, rah." They'll be like, okay, you're
Yeah.
right, you're right. It's gone a bit too far. We'll take it down a bit.
I
I think 10 will be the next number they try, to be
Yeah.
honest. I don't think they're going to go any... Oh, 12. I think it's a bit... I think they'll try and make it 10.
Yeah.
Like, increments of 5 at least.
Well, I've got my Celestial gear on my Guardian.
Yeah.
Celestial gear is being hit quite hard by this change because it kind of gives bonuses to everything.
Yeah.
If you think of the actual stat differences, the actual crit damage it gave was quite a lot for what it was.
Yeah.
And because of this change to ferocity, it's being hit quite hard.
Yeah.
But to balance this out, they're actually increasing all the other stats on Celestial gear by 6%.
Okay.
So, of course, we're losing quite a lot of crit damage, but they're actually increasing your other stats by 6%. So I don't know how it's going to affect me overall, because my build isn't based on crit anyway. I think I kind of took the crit damage just because of it was on the Celestial gear, essentially. Like, my build is mainly about hitting really hard, but not critting. It's basically survival and hit hard.
Yeah, it probably won't affect you, because like you say, I mean, obviously when you crit, you'd like the crit to end up being higher.
Yeah,
But if you're like, oh well, I don't crit that much anyway. I just want to hit harder, and they're doing everything else by 6%. It probably
yeah.
won't be too bad.
Mm.
I mean, at least they're buffing other things and not just being like, well, with this whole change, it's kind of gonna just mess it up, and it's awful. Like you
Yeah.
spent all that time getting that gear.
I spent ages getting the gear.
Yeah,
Do
that's the
you
thing.
remember how long I had to grind it for? Because you have to get the charged quartz
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day, and then I refused to buy it off the trading post because I had a node, so it took even longer
That's the
than I
thing.
wanted.
Like some people would have just bought it and everything, and
It will still
it
take however many days, though. I
yeah.
think
Oh yeah,
it's
it still takes
25 days
time.
or 30 days.
But then people like yourself who have done it the way you did it it would be so frustrating to come back and just be like, this gear's pretty much worthless now because I gained nothing else out of it. I'm just worse.
Yeah. It depends what build you are, really, whether it's worth keeping at the end of the day. Because
Yeah,
it could really change your build, because you could kind of be on a build where everything's useful.
yeah,
But I'm running Celestial because I wanted the survivability, but there were a lot of gear sets that didn't provide the survivability as well as um, another stat that I wanted. I can't remember what it was now, but I wanted power, vitality, and something else. But there was nothing that actually provided what I wanted, so
yeah,
Celestial was the best way to go forward. And a little bit of crit here and there is not bad.
yeah. Well, no one really turns down some extra crit when it's just about, do they really?
Yeah.
So
And all of my damage is coming from my actual spec anyway, because you know how mine works.
yeah,
I've kind of tried to explain it to you at some point.
yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's good
Yeah.
that they're buffing other things, so I don't think you'll have too much of an issue.
Yeah. It's all explained my build on my actual build video, so go check that out if you're interested.
The link's at the bottom.
Yeah, the link will be somewhere in the description if I remember. Finally, on this point, the PvP Celestial gear was actually scaled too high, they said,
Yeah.
and they're proportionately changing that to match the PvE gear.
Okay.
So that's fine. Just general changes, really.
Okay.
Finally, this is our last point, the fourth point. This is what they've released to date so far.
Yep.
The wardrobe system. This is
Oh
quite
yeah.
a big change. I mean, I'm very interested in this because I like my characters looking good. Basically, it allows you, as you go through the game, when you collect items, it allows you to collect them in a account wardrobe.
Yep.
You have a tab in your inventory which you can change.
Yep.
You automatically collect the skins, as I've said. Your dyes for your armor are account wide now as well. So if you've gone and bought a abyss on any of your characters, you will now have that across, which is potentially frustrating if you've bought multiple abysses or celestials for your characters.
See,
I would be incredibly upset if this came in now.
that's the thing.
That's why it's a little bit controversial. I think this one, it's very good as a game point of view, but for some people that have gone and spent, what is it, like 40 gold?
I'm not sure. Like when I
It
last
was a
looked,
lot.
Abyss was about 35, and
Yeah,
Celestial was about 30 or 29.
yeah,
And the thing is, like, I've been lucky. Hey, I've had an Abyss drop and I've had Celestial drop. I sold them both, mainly for the reason that I'd rather have the money from them if I'm only going to use them on one character.
I
But
think that if you knew that this was coming, you would have used them, wouldn't you?
probably because I mean I didn't really need the gold. I've got some spare anyway.
Yeah,
But
and you can always just grind it,
yeah,
gold.
but see, with me, I've got a bit of an addiction for the like unidentified
Dies.
dyes. Right,
Yeah,
I kind of like spending everything I can on buying dyes and finding what dyes I like. That's kind of what I like doing. So the fact that I mean it's pretty much kills prices of dyes
yeah, it does.
completely. Like people are getting Abyss, but they're like, oh, it doesn't matter now. I bought one
Mm.
anyway, so everything could be cheap, which is good if you because it means everyone can have all the nice colours, everyone can look nice and fancy. But it's really messes over the
Yeah,
people that
I'm
have
about
bought
to
them.
I'm about to touch on this in a minute if you wanna hold back a little bit.
I don't know if I can, mate. Don't know if I can.
I'll skip to this point.
Just
Right.
yeah, go.
The point that they've said is as the demand for dyes will drop, unidentified dyes are no longer going to drop as loot. Right?
Yeah.
They haven't specifically said how you can get dyes now. I know you can make them.
Yeah.
I can't remember what. Is it cook?
I can make them myself, but I don't
It is cook,
remember.
isn't
It
it?
is cook. I'm pretty sure it's like the only
Yeah,
other profession I've actually
yeah,
done. So
yeah. It is cooking. You can make your dyes,
yeah,
which I think that's going to be the way to actually get them now,
okay,
which is okay. You can still sell your unidentified dyes that you currently have on the trading post. You can still activate them and use them. So I don't know whether at this point it'd be good to have a stash, because a stash of dyes would mean you could get any dye from it.
yeah,
Whereas a stash of specific dyes would mean you can only get a certain colour, because you have the greys, the blues, the
yeah.
reds. You can only get a certain one from that. Whereas if you've got an unidentified dye, you could potentially get any dye from it. So whether it's worth having a stash now and waiting and seeing if they sell for a lot, or whether it's actually going to plummet the price and you would lose out on a lot. Because I currently have near enough 100 laurels,
Yeah,
so if I went and spent it, on dyes,
yeah.
I could potentially make quite a lot of money, or I could just waste all my laurels.
See, I think it'll be a case of everyone will be thinking, oh, I can put the stash on and sell them and see if they're worth anything. But if everyone thinks the same, and
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's just gonna completely ruin any money on dies. I don't think there's even like you can't even try and save unidentified die prices because I
mm.
mean at the moment I can't remember what did they used to be like 20, 30 silver, something like 50 silver,
I
so,
think they're like 36 last time I looked.
something around there, right?
They're quite a lot.
And then which is a good way to make money, especially if you've got some. I mean, obviously me,
Yeah.
I didn't like I liked opening them. I
You
like
gamble,
the
but
lucky dip. I'm like, boom, what have I got?
sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky. I'm in Celestial and Abyss. I mean, I think I've had some other ones as well, so I can't really
Yeah,
complain.
it's got some
I,
decent ones.
yeah, I've been one of the lucky ones. But I mean, I definitely think I mean, it'll be nice because that means like if I try it again and when all the changes come in, I can come in and I can buy the Abyss, I can buy the Celestial because I actually want Celestial anyway, but I can buy it and it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg.
See, will it though? That's the thing, because if the supply is dropping, the only way you can get it is going to be through cooking, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
So will this mean that potentially demand will, or the supply price will go up? Because supply will go down, but demand will stay the same. So the price will go up, is what I'm potentially.
See, I just don't think I think the price will go down from what it is now. I don't think it will completely drop because, like you say, there's only a certain way to get it, right?
And they are rare dyes as well,
Yeah,
aren't
and they are rare dice. And if people, for instance, if you get someone to make it for you, they're gonna charge you.
they?
So
You can't even choose to make it though. It's a lucky dip, isn't it?
yeah,
'Cause
but
you get a palette choice,
yeah,
but it's still a lucky dip within that palette.
but so yeah, you did a what is it? Was it the grayscale on the white, right? It's not like, or
It's
it'll be
grey.
yeah.
It's called grey,
But
I think.
see now it does I think open up a thing where people can go like, look, I want you to make, I've got this many mats for this much of the grayscale
Hmm.
and boosh, and then people are going to charge a fee for them to do that for you. So it opens that up for people to make money. Then obviously it's completely pot luck on the dice that you get. And if you get them
I
back, you
think
might make money. You might make no money. You might
I
lose.
think
You'll
the
probably
problem you'll
lose
find with
money.
that is that because Guild Wars doesn't have a trading system, apart from the trading post, of course, but doesn't actually
Yeah,
have a
but you can send
trade system.
stuff.
It's just whether you can trust someone though.
See that's the thing. Like that would be obviously if you've got friends in game, then it's different.
Mm.
And then obviously like I'm a cook and you've probably got a cook.
Oh yeah, Max Cooking.
Yeah, so it's different like that. You're right in the aspect of who do you actually trust in a game, like especially when there's no trade thing, which I would actually like to see implemented. I think every sort of game needs a trade system. But again, trust is something that can be you can get mugged off over trading anyway.
Mm.
And but especially, I mean, they come in there. Let's face it. I mean, you can't see what they make in the like the chat box either, right? It doesn't pop up like because they'd make it and it would just be. Does it come up unidentified or does it just give you a random die? It gives you a random die, right? From the
It
scale.
comes up as when you make it gives you an item which is unidentified, whatever color die,
Okay.
and then you open it.
Yeah.
So I think you can sell that, the unidentified grey die or whatever.
Yeah.
You can sell that, and I think you'll still probably be able to sell the dies as well, which
Yeah.
would make sense. But I think that's the only way that you can currently do it, unless there's some other thing that they're going to implement soon.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see because I mean, if you could trust people in a game like that, I mean, there are people that'll be trustworthy who would legitimately do it for you, but then there'll always be the people who'll be like, I've got these mats here, see if I can get whip out a celestial, or like a white die,
Yeah.
even if for themselves, so just to make a little bit of money. Because I think, yeah, I think it's going to be cheap as well, but they can still make a bit of money, and if they just going to mug someone off, what's it matter? It's
Hmm.
not a good thing to think about, and I'd hate to think that people would actually do it, but it happens in every game, and it would happen again. But I don't know. I mean, I think if you could trust people, it would definitely make it better for people who have to cook in to make them. It offers them something else to make money off.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, you're right with the trust. I mean, I think the prices are gonna plummet, and I think if people will buy it once, obviously, because it's account bound.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's face it, everyone's gonna have the nicest eyes, and there's only so many players, and once they've got it, that's it.
That's true. That's true.
Like you got to think, it's not like there's probably like a few million playing Guild Wars, right? I haven't looked
Hmm.
at numbers in ages, but let's face it, a lot of people who put time and effort are gonna have all the top guys anyway, and so
And they're all going to have it. It's just going to go
yeah,
straight over.
that's the thing. And then it'll get to the stage where even the people that come in like into Guild Wars, if they like playing it, they'll end up getting it because people are gonna have it. I'll be like, oh, here you go, mate.
Yeah.
Like from a guild or whatever. I think it'll just be the case of everyone will have it soon, and then which is nice because again, everyone can look nice and snazzy, but it completely ruins. It ruins fun for me because, like I say, I like doing the unidentified thing, see what I get. It kind of ruins that for me,
Yeah.
and it ruins like if I get something good of making money. But
Yeah. So whether they still continue with the laurels or not, I don't think you'll be able to buy them with laurels anymore. I
I,
don't know.
I think it'd be pointless. Why would you? I mean, something. I mean,
Well,
fair
you can still
enough.
sell them. You can still use them. So
Yeah,
they could keep it in potentially.
I think I'd have to get lower the price then because they're pretty much useless. And if fair enough, right, you get one per day, and then what 10 from the monthly, right?
Yeah.
So you're racking up all those laurels, but if you're still spending the same amount of laurels on the dies, which eventually become worthless, you've wasted laurels.
Yeah.
So I think they either need to make it like drop it from 5 to like 1 or 2 maybe, just so people can have a chance of getting some dies, or just remove it completely.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way to go with that, because you still and just leave the laurels for important things.
Right. I think we should talk about the final point in this last bit
Yep.
before we drag on for too long.
Yeah.
Um, the final point is, your account vault, your bank.
Yep.
There's now going to be a new tab on there
Oh.
called the account wardrobe.
Okay.
This, what do you think it's going to do from
It's
what's
just
the?
gonna hold all your wardrobe in area, all your clothes and
No,
stuff.
no, no, no. It shows all skins available in the game.
Okay.
It works a similar way to the PvP wardrobe. You've probably never seen it because you don't go to PvP. But in the Mists wardrobe,
Yeah.
it's basically a wardrobe, a literal wardrobe
Yeah.
that is just there. You activate it and you can see all the
Keep all
items
my
in the
shoes in
game.
there, yeah. My shoes and my
Yeah,
purses.
yeah,
Okay.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, cool.
Your little fuzzy hat.
My little stilettos.
But
Need them.
with this, you can see every item in the game, and you can see it on your character as well. Like you can display it on yourself.
That's good. Saves you having to look up gear sets.
Yeah, it saves you doing all that, and I think it's really good because you can actually make yourself a gear set.
Yeah.
You can dye it as well in this panel apparently.
Yeah.
You can dye it in the panel and
And
see
then
exactly
yeah,
what you're gonna look like. And
that's
if
really
you don't,
good.
and it's gonna show all the items in the game. So if you don't have this item, you're like, wow, that's really cool. You can look up where to find it.
Yeah.
And you probably didn't even know this that you can in your chat box. If you type slash Guild Wars wiki or something, and then the item, it actually opens up your internet browser and goes on the wiki page for you.
Oh, I did not know that. That is quite a good little function actually.
I can't remember the actual command. I think it's something like that, but it does actually go on the wiki page and search it. So if you actually want to find out where to get it,
Yeah.
you look on there. It might tell you where to get it on. Now I wouldn't actually know where it tells you. Probably doesn't. It's probably just quick to kind of display. But you could just wiki it straight off Guild Wars, the chat.
I mean, also one thing this probably won't happen, but say for instance when you went into the wardrobe, the items you had, right? Say it just like if you had nothing, right? Everything's grayed out. You can still look at it, still do exactly the same, but the items are grayed out. But if you have them already, they're coloured. That way you know what exactly you need to get. Like that's probably like just completely
Yeah.
weird. But I think that way you look at it and you be like, oh, that's cool.
I think they are grayed out the ones you don't have.
I mean, I think that'd be quite cool because that way you'd be like, oh, I really
I'm
like this gear
fairly
set.
I'm fairly certain they are because when I looked at the preview, it looked like they were greyed out, the ones you don't have. They
Yeah,
might
that's good.
99%.
I think that well, that's really good then. That's the only one thing I would think if it just left it and you'd be like, well, do I already have that? I mean, even if it was simple, if it wasn't grayed out and it just said have this or something like that,
Yeah,
you own this
I
item.
think it is greyed out the same
Yeah.
way as the PvP wardrobe does.
Okay, that's cool. Just it's just so you know because if you go and make a gear set and you spend a few gold making some gear and you're like, oh, I've got that chest piece.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough, you could sell it, but you just spent the time and effort if you want to grind the mats and save money, sort of thing. Like, yeah, oh, I could have spent that time making the other part.
The good thing that this means is that, do you remember all the different back pieces and all that crap that you
Yeah,
got?
yeah,
That's not going to go into there, right?
yeah,
Your skin pouch, or your a wardrobe.
yeah,
You can now have, I can now have my celestial wings, my shattered wings on any of my characters. I can have any number of my different backpacks on any of my characters.
yeah,
I can have pretty much any of the stuff that I've got in my bank on any of my characters, which is good.
yeah.
See, I don't know whether that will count towards the engineer special backpacks. Like, you know, the special guardian helms that you start with, the special engineer backpack or goggles.
Yeah,
Will those go into it is another question, I think. See, I don't know this.
yeah.
Because you can't get those unless you kind of cheat the system. I don't know whether
Yeah,
you've
I
seen that.
suppose. I haven't really looked into anything in a while,
Because
so.
you can cheat the system and get around it by using transmutation stones. And
Oh yeah,
you transmute it, because by default it's soulbound,
yeah,
but you can transmute it onto a white item, which makes it unsoulbound. It makes it
yeah.
account bound instead of soulbound.
Oh yeah,
And you can
I
trade it
remember.
over.
Yep,
So currently in my bank, I've got the thieves hood that you start with.
yeah,
I've got that, so I can use it on any leather wearer,
yep.
or any medium armor wearer, I should say. But yeah, whether I can carry on doing that, or whether it's just going to mean it's just going to go back to being thief. Because I mean, I could use my thieves hat, my thieves hood on my engineer at the moment,
Yeah.
but I don't know whether I can carry on doing that.
I don't know. I mean, is it? Yeah, like I say, it's a bit of a cheat system, so they might just be like, nah. But
Yeah.
they might just be like, just leave it in there. Like, if you're clever enough to use it like that. Ideally, it's a clever way of doing it. And if you're clever enough to do that anyway, why take it out? I mean, I mean, I think that there's some very nice changes. Whether I
So
mean,
far as well, because this isn't everything.
no, oh yeah. I mean, I don't know.
And we can only hope that saving the best till last. Fingers crossed they're going to announce raids for you. I know that will definitely bring you back, regardless of the rest of the stuff.
Okay. Well, go on.
Right. I think we should wrap up there. Hopefully next week we get another one of these out.
Yep.
Potentially if you're not working or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like you said, one of the only things I'd be waiting for would be like, oh, we're gonna start doing raids, and I'd be like, boom, I'll be on that stuff, because that's like one of the another reason why I don't play Guild Wars. I mean, I'm sure there's the guild events and stuff. They don't really excite me.
You haven't tried the guild missions yet?
No, but like I've
It's
watched
because
guild missions
our
and
guild
stuff.
isn't very big, is it? It's just you and me.
Well, yeah, there is that to it. Like we just thought, yeah, we'll make a guild. But then there's also I've watched some of like videos as well. It's not like I haven't at least thought about it.
Tried
They
it.
don't
Yeah.
look like they excite me. Like I like farm champions because it kind of reminds me like, oh, they're like bosses. Cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool. But then even that gets tedious. I just put me in like a raid. No trash, please. Don't like trash. All right, we'll have none of that. Maybe a couple of little like midi bosses. Fine. Then let me sap a boss about for a bit, and then I'll be happy. That's what I'm waiting for.
Well, you heard it here first, Arena Net.
Yeah,
He wants
I
raids.
demand. And if it does not happen, I'm not going to do anything about it. But still, I'll be very annoyed.
There won't be any point in cancelling your subscription.
Yeah.
It's free, isn't it?
Yeah. You'll never get my money. Oh, never mind. It's free.
I won't buy gems anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
You'll be dead to me. No, I mean, again, it's not a lot I can do. I mean, I like the game, but it gets to the stage where I've leveled a character, you gear him up, and I have nothing to do, and because I don't like the world v world that much, and I don't like PvP.
Well, we'll wait and see what else is announced in the next couple of weeks. And we'll try and put out another video next week, potentially the following week. I don't know when this all ends. We're waiting to
Yeah.
see with that one. Right, let's close up then.
Yeah.
As always, remember to subscribe if you liked the content. We've had a good chat. I don't know how long this has been. It's been quite some time.
It's been a bit, probably longer than we were planning it to be, to be honest. But hey,
Yeah, we planned about 10 minutes. It's probably about
they
10
can
hours.
they can just listen to our soothing voices and
And watch my character stand in the middle of the destroyed lion's arch because I'm just standing here, occasionally folding his arms.
the character's ugly as well.
Hey.
That's what I thought.
Thanks for watching. Tukx out.
Bye.